Okay, so thank you for coming so early. In this talk, it's about already the thesis what I'm going to defend here, that the gamblers and the explorers have similar mental states. Basically, I found this insight very counterintuitive at the beginning, especially because it was produced out of a bottom-up system I made. And usually your first assumption is then you make like a theory of whatever, and then you look the predictions, what the theory makes. And then if the theory makes some very stupid predictions, then you just discard that idea and look for a better theory. So I found it very disturbing at the beginning, but procrastination helped me here because I didn't discard the theory, so I just continued on, tried to ignore it, and I looked at it again, and now I think it makes a lot of things sense to talk about that exploration in Warcraft, exploration in Stellaris, exploration in Minecraft does similar things to our brain that being in a casino and playing on the slot machine or on the roulette table or whatever you like. Okay, so what I want to make a difference between three levels I'm working with, and this is really the only thing I want to introduce. So I think we need to make a difference first, when we talk about the games itself. Do I see the time here? How much time I have? I don't have. Okay, yeah. So basically, you have first the ontological level, where you just look at what the game is. So how it is made, what is factual, and then the second layer is the topic of this conference. The main theme is the player's perspective, how you experience it, how the players experience certain events in the game. And the third level is it's these sociological concepts. For example, you can think on that we divide conferences between gambling studies and gambling game studies. So you will not find in the gambling journal anything on League of Legends, although it has some mechanics that works with chance, and vice versa. No paper would be, I think, accepted here that it is on, I don't know, roulette or something. And this is a very arbitrary decision that we made. So these are the three levels. And I think I'm using always the Roger Caillois's different terminology of Agon and Alia, mostly because it is unambiguous and it is and no colloquialisms are in it, so normal language is not conflates it. The problem is that many times we have also a deliberate attempt to mix these two parts. For example, casinos want you to feel that when you want something, then you did it, then you made some effort on it. And this is, of course, just not the case. There are very bizarre interviews when they interview people who won the scratch-off or the lottery, and they ask questions such as, what is your secret? And what advice can you give for people who are playing outside? And you get all these whimsical answers. So it's almost like a satire, but it's of course not a satire. The people believe in that. They completely ignore the ontological level, and both of them are bought into this illusion of that was some sort of an effort that was being made, so the person won the lottery. So this is why it's important to differentiate between them. And these are going to be my examples. craps, it's a game where you're just at a table and throw the dice and try to predict what numbers are coming. And then Texas Hold'em. The third one is a German game. I would explain it, Roulette, Stellaris, League of Legends, Minecraft, and the slot machines. Okay, so I already mentioned there is this mechanic in League of Legends where you buy certain items and they give you a critical hit chance, and then you hit the critical, then you have double the damage. Here, for example, I don't mean something trivial like this. Of course, you could say, yeah, because it is also based on chance, and if you look at League of Legends players, you will see that they make similar noises what people make when they win in the casino on a slot machine. This is not what I mean. I mean on the okay. I mean something basically much more profound. That although, because we heard it yesterday in a talk, because it's not about the game itself anymore, right? It's just the system, and the players are not seeing it as when they hit that, oh, I just hit very strong, but they are very well aware that, oh, I just got this 10% chance on the critical hit, and they are aware of the system. They're already playing the system, they don't play actually the heroes. Okay, so if we look at games such as Minecraft, the way it works that when the player spawns, there is a seed and the computer generates it, right? So it's basically, when you're in the middle, the map is not created yet. You need to move there. And if you move, it creates it. So you can see it on the very basic level. It's like throwing a dice. When you move, that randomly generates the parts of the map that you are going to discover. The second variation would be, of course, that it is already generated in some other games, like, the example here would be you just throw the ball and then you wait. You generate the chance in that very moment. It is not there. What's the alternative? Well, the alternative is here in the civilization, where fairness is very important. So there are algorithms that that make sure that it is the resources are distributed equally. So when you spawn in a location, you can be absolutely sure that this is a fantastic location, and you shouldn't move your settler. So you just simply settle there. Everybody, you just come here. Who just start the game, you immediately settle. And the way it works is that it is pre-generated. When the players move in a new area, it's not like in this moment the computer just throws a dice and says, okay, now there is a mountain, now there is oil there in the late game. Okay, and yeah, so basically you can imagine it, you can imagine a civilization like poker, when you put the card, so everybody has the 2 cards, Texas Hold'em, and the dealer puts down 3 cards face down, right? And then you have to, then these are already there, and everybody is waiting to uncover it, and you need to pay money, buy in to the pot to uncover it, right? This is this kind of mechanics. And another kind of mechanics when you just throw the ball or the ball inside a roulette, and then you generate it. Okay, by the way, in Stellaris is the same. You go to the stars and then you scan them, and it's already there, like a car, like a card that it is on the table already. Now, but I claim, so as you can see, one of them is you discover something, you explore what is under the card, and another one you generate with chance. However, there is absolutely no difference between the two, and I can show it with a thought experiment. You can just think that in order to make it, you don't need to, you don't want to for some reason throw the ball, and then you ask a friend just to throw the ball for you. Let's say you need 2 for crabs, and you put it face down under the cup, right? And then you do it many times, right? You roll the dice before, you put it down, no one saw it, right? So there is absolutely no difference on the ontological level. Maybe there is a slight difference, but basically not real. Like if you throw 2 dice, right, roll 2 dice in this very moment, or you did it a minute ago and then you put the cup on it and you didn't see, and then you just uncover it in this very moment, there is just a psychological difference, right? Because I don't know if it makes sense, but this is very important to understand that basically these are the same two same things. So this is we perceive it. One, we perceive that we perceive it as something that we explore, we just discovered, right? And another one that we generated something new. One of them is just chance and randomness and awareness of contingency, or alea, if you want to call it. And another one is also alea, but you uncover it. You like America was there before the people went there, right? It's not like God rolled the dice before and just okay, let's have a continent here too. Okay, so this is the point. So I think this is why this is just how we perceive these things differently. Okay. Yeah, so I would like to talk about this kind of slot machines. I recently just got fascinated by them. They are based on the mechanics. By the way, so I looked at the symbolisms of the slot machines, like the narrative level. And first of all, the most symbols you will see there are basically French cards. The ace, the king, numbers of the cards. And that's okay. That is because it is the idea, it's a historical accident basically. Because it's just what were familiar with the people back then, this kind of cards. So they made this machine and they wanted them to have a feeling that they know what they are doing. So they just put the aces, so they knew, if I have a royal flush, then it is really good, just as in the games I played before. But then you have all these fruits. And not just, I am surprised how often are there fruits in these. Like, so I just couldn't explain. And I think this is something that Scott Osterweis said yesterday. I liked his approach of thinking like an anthropologist. And I think we need to, if we thinking about games, because these are very, very old. Like we played games for thousands of years, and I think this goes back what he said, hunter-gatherer societies, that some of us were hunting and we were just waiting for the prey to come patiently, and most of the other group were just gathering stuff, right? They went out in the nature and they were looking for things, like they were explorers. They were exploring the area, basically, looking at, try to find something, search for what? Basically for fruits. And I think this is maybe one of those things that automatically works. But not only this, I found a lot of if you just look at it, a lot of times there's just a journey that we're talking about now, the slot machine topics. So, because my intuition would be this: if slot machines are just this really nice game that people need mechanically, they just need kind of the experience, the slot machine experience, then I would make the topics of these, the themes of these, the themes that they are anyways popular. For example, if I'm selling posters, right? What kind of posters I'm going to sell? I'm going to sell posters with little cats, cars, whatever. And it's really if you go to a poster merchant, you will see these kind of topics. But here you have this really weird focus on fruits and journey, a lot of adventure, finding new stuff, everything together, huge mushrooms, finding a new love. It's very often Atlantis, of course. What is Atlantis? Atlantis is the lost city, right? That everybody believes that is somewhere, and there are huge expeditions made in the history to find this lost city and more Atlantis, a lot of Atlantis, and also just simply just going out with ships and finding stuff here. Another here again, okay, another is a lot of dinosaurs. We also, when you dig up dinosaurs, we're basically going out, and there is basically no reason for this topic. So you have to ask the reason: why is this working? And it's better like this. I think they didn't make it. They weren't aware. But if you think about, if you make like a roller coaster, you design a roller coaster, and it's a really big drop and then goes up and down. Then you want to name it something crazy like the drop of doom, but you cannot name it Harmony Valley or something like this, because it just doesn't fit together. So you need to see that the experience you have in whatever you design fits the themes that you are giving. And so many Egyptian stuff. Like it's also very difficult to explain why independently different companies just doing this Egypt themes where you just find all these gems and the treasures and traps. And Lost City of Incas, many times El Dorado themes too. El Dorado is the same version of Atlantis, just basically on the dry land. It's a city with a lot of wealth in it. So I thought that this is really one of the best clues that is something in it, that when you kind of play the games, it very well fits this kind of, oh, I find this. And I started to watch also videos of people who very much into slot machines. And what they do is they go in the casino from one machine to another, and they say, oh, I feel that this machine is working. And they talk constantly about finding the right machine and to get the jackpot. Yeah, more stuff. I don't know. Am I going back? It seems like. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you can just convince yourself. Just go online and you will see these topics all over on these machines. And even if they do topics like the Greeks, then you think, okay. It's normal. Then you will see stuff that usually archaeologists dig out, right? That's not really the culture that this pot, for example, right? They had some sort of pot, but here also you see not a real representation of the Greek culture, but like this view that we dig out this stuff and find their treasures. And yeah, under the sea. And even if it's like with zombies, Yeah, it's also called like Lost Vegas, the zombies in Lost Vegas. Yeah, okay, so basically I would like to sum up just again stating that although we separate it on this social level, and then we have different journals and different university faculties for this kind of studies, for exploration in computer video games and gambling, and we give them different names. It is very, very trivial that on the ontological level, that if you generate chance in the moment, or you generate it before and then you hide it and then you uncover it, it is just for from our perspective, from the player's perspective, it's different. And yes, it matters, but maybe these are similar mental states, and I don't know. I just thought it's interesting, and that maybe it can help designers, for example, when they do like this kind of games that they think on in the casino games, more consciously think about exploration, and also that the two kind of gambling studies and game studies, it's like a link between the two, maybe. Okay. Yeah, thank you for listening.